Final ending of Distress, Things No Longer Being Cool, Part 1 is below. After 2 years, after my wife brought a horrible man into my home 3 years ago when she filed for a separation, I was granted custody of the children. The state accused her of being neglected. After a terrible period of court battles and terrifying visits, I brought her back. She has since lied to me and told me several lies, claiming that we had slept together against her will. For the third time, she has stolen all of my money and now demands the house, all of the children, and everything. I'm not sure why. I thought we were doing fantastic. We had our share of setbacks, but we overcame them. My past is available to read in the history. Now that I'm broke, I see that she continues to talk and text someone while denying that they are with someone else. Because I was suicidal earlier and did not want to lose my kids, I am stronger now. Is there anyone who knows why she would change her mind so rapidly after giving me a goodnight kiss the night before? Although she obviously planned this, she lied up until today, when I received my meal. She tried X 3 years ago by diving into the water when she lost in court. She had to be saved by the fire department. I've had this witch through hell and back. Undoubtedly, I've made mistakes numerous times. I'm not sure if I want to continue. I can never live without my children. Right now, I would like to pass away. She is a wicked individual. On the 16th, she filed temporary orders to force me out of the house. My glasses are no longer rose-colored. Perhaps I should just take my own life. She claims that the temporary orders put the children in danger and I'm not sure what type of ammunition she has. I am unable to start over. Right now, I'm getting weaker. I have trouble falling asleep. Manipulation took place behind my back. She stole all of my cash, so I won't have anywhere to go and everything I worked so hard to get is gone. With my kids grown up and my finances in ruins, what use is there? She introduced me. Orders state that I pushed her to make love to me one night because I was intoxicated. But I remember how much fun we had, which is a lie and a perjury. How is she treating me? To whom did I get married? After 15 years together, who is this person? And she suddenly turns against me. She was really kind to me and gave me coffee 3 days ago. She also requested me to join her in bed 2 days earlier when I was watching TV. Now, she says, all she was doing was trying to disguise what was about to happen. I adore my children dearly. She wants everything, babies, if she wins. More funds and assistance. She has every dime I own, which I gave her to store in a safe. They positioned me. Is that another guy's voice? Even as she declines, she keeps telling lies. For the first time in years, I'm by myself tonight and haven't seen my kids. She brought them to her friend's house to stay. I don't believe I can do this anymore. I love my babies so much. I'm staying at work because my lawyer warned me not to be in the house alone myself with her. My babies are missed. How foolish was I to have given her back? I suppose all I did was deceive myself into thinking I will always have that ideal family. Now I will never get her back, assuming I make it through this evening. I'm never going to get her back. All I want is my kids. I adore my kids dearly. I have to get through this night. I am to blame for allowing this sociopath to return to my house. My 11-year-old daughter is aware of the value of a happy marriage and the importance of parent-child kissing and affection. She likes that she was present when we broke up, and that the other man who was her boyfriend dragged her down the stairs as they tried to sleep together. Yes, my darling daughter. I was given complete control of the home to take care of the kids. With nowhere to go, my wife pleaded to come home. In her car, she was dozing off. The judge asked why I let her go when she begged to go home, and I told him she was getting mental health assistance and was doing well. I texted my babies to talk to them. They said, "Daddy, we love you." My daughter said to stop inquiring if there is another male in the house when I was messaging her to check on her. My greatest worry is that, to go get them some ice cream, she asked me. I have no idea what to do. She appears to be very assured when she says, "I'm not keeping the kids from you." A week subsequently, many modifications. I'm represented by counsel. He's competent. I returned to the house and am currently residing here. We are behaving like a typical family, but I persuaded her to withdraw that absurd request for full custody because she was bonding against my will and putting my children in danger, a complete fabrication and perjury. We wrote an agreement today while she saw her attorney. I have no idea why she is acting like I am her spouse. She also lied when she said our divorce is scheduled to begin soon. As she told me, she filed a year ago and never canceled it. I'm a decent dude. Sure, I work a lot, but only that. She is acting really strangely, though. It's almost as if she kind of regrets it. She acts more afraid the more confident I am. I can see she's miserable and uninteresting. I know it's time to move on from this woman, and everyone I know, including my friends and family, agrees. I've emerged from beneath the depth. What's going on with her, I wonder? She's been pleading with me to take her out to lunch and help with the yard. Guys, what the devil is this? In reality, I'm just disgusted. I've been to endless hell and back with this woman. Her past is evident, and she is mentally ill. I was first saddened all over again, but my lawyer urged me to get over it and start taking care of myself. It's hard for me to believe she has the audacity to be acting in this way, but I don't know if it's because of her difficult upbringing or just plain sociopathy. I need a strategy, which is why I'm here to keep my kids safe and to stop Guy from moving in. Despite the approaching divorce date, she is acting as though we are married. She has also started to drink more. She started requesting bonding when I was watching TV on the couch. This woman filed a motion for non-consensual bonding against me 2 weeks ago. I'm a dangerous drunk who endangers children. The finest father is myself. How in the world is this woman flawed? How can someone be so dang unpredictable? P.S. I'm keeping my cash out of sight from her. Today, it occurred to me that I am truly done. I feel nearly completely devoid of emotion right now, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Is it just codependency? Please. It was a terrible weekend. She became mad at me and fired the babysitter who was talking to me. I refused to go even after she urged me to. My poor kids were so unhappy. I tried to chat to her, that's all. We'll leave it up to the courts, she said. She replied that she was taking her medication when I asked, but they weren't there when I looked. She had been without her medication for at least a week when the script was refilled last night. She is now disparaging me and acting as though she would win everything in court, which scares me. I am really wounded. I informed my lawyer by email. She's acting so confidently, like everything is hers, that it's intimidating me, which is why I'm terrified. She freaked out when I told her that her past would be discussed in court, but I was only being kind and attempting to arrange a mediation. To be honest, I'm afraid to go home. It was merely a move to get me out of the house. They were never even charging me. Nothing, no charges, no police. She then decided to cancel it. What a joke, and it was a complete fabrication. This woman has been abusing me for years. You're accurate. When I questioned her on Sunday about why she detested me so much, she answered, quote, "You're narcissistic. My behavior, including my facial expressions. Are you joking with me?" For that reason, after she destroyed my business, my neighbor discovered her beating my employee on the desk. After she allows a criminal into my house, she drives to the seaside and steals a bottle of medications from the court parking lot. Swims a mile out to perish. If it weren't for a guy who was working and noticed it, she would have died. Police everywhere, fire engines, everything. Then, after her buddy lost her house, she spent a week living out of her car. She kept staring at this piece of garbage. No car, no job, nothing at all. 3 arrest warrants and 4 restraining orders. She persistently pleaded for me to take her home, and now I find myself footing the bill. We barely exchange glances as I get home from a long day at work. It's crazy, there's no conversation, and living here is quite difficult. I can't trust her around other males, so I won't be leaving my kids alone. I have a while because the court is at the end of the month. After compiling every police record on my spouse, I will obtain the court reports. I fear that I will not lie. What happens if she manages to bury me in court? I wonder why she is sprucing up the house so much and taking care of the lawn and yard. We have 80-0 inverted. She probably believes she is receiving everything. It's 12 and I'm really down. I'm not at all displaying weakness to her. She seemed to be unhappy. I should file for divorce shortly. When I consider what she did behind my back, I cringe. Slumbering about untruths. I'm relieved that this sicko didn't spread any illnesses to me. My 9-year-old son is soundly asleep beside me. How did I earn this right? I am so accustomed to this now. It's unbelievable that she had sex with my staff. 18-year-old small child. 9 years earlier, when my neighbor discovered her on my desk, she was 33 and giggling in the background. Next came the money, followed by bankruptcy, and lastly the other man who was babysitting my kids at home. How in the hell? The cash she pilfered from her relatives. I am unable to explain to you all. I have served for 15 years. How come I'll never be content? It was brought back inside my house 3 years ago. How I know this is the case? I realize that being married to a bipolar freak necessitates a divorce. She has caused me to endure unbearable agony. All 5 years wasted. I allowed it to occur. I'm crying right now because the family I tried so hard to maintain is falling apart again. I'm still baffled as to why she detests me so abruptly. We pass one another without exchanging words. Since Tuesday, there hasn't been any communication. My anxiousness is out of control and I'm dreading my court date. We are finally obtaining the long overdue divorce after 6 months of proceedings. However, following these incidents 5 years ago, I was given custody of the house. 4 years ago, when I allowed her to move back in, the downward spiral started anew. I'm not sure if she is aware of the truth, but the falsehoods, the lies. I discovered yesterday that, in some way, she has been withdrawing funds from my personal business account once more after getting access to a card that has my PIN. She also kept all of my letters hidden from me. By the way, I adore my 3 small children more than life itself. She requested shared custody and $400 per week during our 4-way meeting with attorneys 4 weeks ago. I haven't settled yet. In light of this most recent stolen episode, I'm considering filing charges against her personally. It's already been sent to the bank's fraud department. Will there be a criminal conviction as a result of this? I imagine this would be detrimental to her case. What are the opinions of others? This could perhaps provide her with the long-needed repercussions, in my opinion. Please listen to me now if you are still lying, cheating, or stealing. They remain unchanged. All right, I completed it. Today, police arrived and obtained a victim statement. One of them is a buddy of mine, and he was upset about the shift change. I also spoke with the bank, and they are operational. Tomorrow, I have to supervise kids in my house, where I haven't been for 3 days. She doesn't know what's going on, and I fear things might get ugly when she does. She repeatedly claimed in our back and forth texts that she is not stupid. She's going to say that I let her use my account to pay for hair appointments and 2,000 ATM withdrawals when we were divorcing. Is she really that dumb, or is it just me? 4 years ago, she did dive into the ocean. Whether she's foolish or sick, this week the cops will interview her. It's also contempt of court because the divorce was already underway. In addition to criminal, our recent correspondence has been peculiar. She is saying that I caused her bipolar, according to her doctor. She keeps bringing up the idea that I try to control her with my egotistical, manipulative ways because I believe I'm so much superior than her. How in the hell? I'm afraid of her, and I'm not sure what to do. Will this stuff hold up before the judge? I went over to watch the kids while she was in court, changed my trousers, and left my old ones in the bathroom with $400 inside. You know what happened next? She accepted it. It was a joke, she subsequently admitted. Are you telling the truth? My sister told her to go through her junk while she was gone. When I did, I discovered that she had also been using her deceased mother's social security funds to sign her own checks. How in the hell? I brought it to their attention. Did I act appropriately? They take this seriously, I know that. I'm so sorry. Of course, this is the best part. I just learned that she went to court and got her divorce without me there because I wasn't informed that I had fired my attorney and that he was dismissed at the most recent court date. She then slipped back in and the judge gave her everything she wanted because I wasn't there. I'm severely depressed and there is injustice here. She used my 12-year-old phone number as the number to reach her deceased mother after she forged the name. Half a year later. The issue here is that, while I'm relieved, I can't do this anymore. She is undoubtedly a unique human being that I have only ever seen on Dateline. My poor kids don't know yet, but if you could read about the amazing nightmares I've had with her, it would be really appreciated. I assure you that she is ill. Years had passed, and I still believed I was the mouse. Got everything, a house, custody, etc. Then, because I'm a fool, she managed to sneak back in and pull the rug out from under me. She is the reason I have nothing at 46 years old. I no longer have the funds to hire a lawyer. She completely cleaned me out. A few days later, I get the divorce papers, which are rather simple, 250 weeks for 3 kids, that's all. She continues to live in the terrible house, which is unhealthy for my children nevertheless. Raccoons spent 8 years infiltrating the 3rd story. What worries me the most, though, is that my 12-year-old called me a jerk and told me to go away. And she's happy that my mother got rid of me and on and on. So now that I'm sitting here at my business talking, I'm really miserable. So I'll continue to drink. I struggle to raise the children. Since I'm not very organized, I was spending money quickly. I would be bankrupt right now. The judge awarded me very little in child support, and there is no alimony. To be honest, I don't know how she will manage. She spends cash as if it's becoming outdated. And the money she stole from me must be running low. Since my kids enjoy their friends and home and I have nowhere to take them, I believe I should just stay out of their lives. And constantly rising and falling. Update. Despite the fact that my divorce was finished 6 months ago, I spent 6 months watching my kids at home. They have grown older. I returned to my shop last Monday after leaving. I guess I'm on my own from now on. It's really difficult, and I don't want to slip back into the same old pitfalls that defeated me. I guess I made the right decision in the end. I can't believe how confused my 7-year-old seems. My 10-year-old is on my side, and my 13-year-old doesn't give a damn. At this point, being alone is incredibly difficult. Very depressed. It's like I still have feelings for her, and I'm not sure why. I wonder if I'm crazy to think this way. After a month, you guessed it, she filed for a restraining order, so I'm unable to communicate with her or my kids at all. Now what in the world am I going to do? My feedback. The Opus's last update was that was among the most depressing stories I've written thus far. It was actually Opus's fault to divorce her when he had the opportunity. However, it was already too late. I believe others who wish to fix their partners can learn anything from this narrative. You have to send them to an institution if you still want to, but you can't since you're not a professional. Story 2, allow me to begin from the outset. My hubby is 45 and I am 43. It has been a year and a half since our marriage. He meets up on Facebook with his former high school sweetheart as soon as we got engaged. I told him not to talk to her so much since he did. He said he would no longer speak with her, but he went on. Subsequently, I discovered texts in which he mentioned his intention to see her and pledged to honor any love he might have for her. When I faced him, he called her and ended the relationship. He assured me that he would never speak to her again and that I would never regret getting married to him. After our marriage, he came clean and admitted that he had never stopped talking to her, had even gone to see her in person. He said he didn't speak to her again after we got married. After our marriage, he began acting strangely once more after 10 months. To cut a long tale short, he had been discussing their reconciliation with his former spouse. Once more, he had been absent and aloof. I was aware that something was off. He expressed his desire for our marriage to succeed and promised to go above and beyond. We attended therapy together for several months after he started taking antidepressants. He appeared to be trying really hard. We have been discussing purchasing a house jointly for the past few weeks. I've been feeling so nervous about this. He still has my mistrust. I needed to know that he would act honorably if the chance to betray me ever arose again. I received his former high school Flames area code when I bought a prepaid cell phone. I claimed to be her when I texted him. A decent husband would have told her he wasn't interested or would have declined to answer. He didn't act in that manner. He informed her that he had checked the cell records when he texted her from his business cell instead of his personal one. We had ups and downs in our marriage. He informed her that I was self-centered and that he had no way of knowing if today would be the day we parted ways. He would constantly tell me when he got home how much he loved me and how much he still wanted us to find a place to live. Every night when we sleep, he gives me a hug and tells me that I am the best wife in the world. He told me yesterday that he was finding it difficult to SMS her on his work phone and that in order to stay in touch with her, he would be buying a disposable phone after work. I made a down payment on a new apartment for my kid and me yesterday. I'm going to move on Tuesday. None of this is known to him. I'm in such pain. I love this man so much, and he ruined us, so I'm angry and heartbroken all at once. To give myself time to get my affairs in order, I have to act as though I don't know. I feel physically sick because of everything today. I adore him a great deal. The happiest day of my life was the day we were married. It's unbelievable to me that he did this to me. For my own sanity, I must reclaim my authority. So that he can no longer harm me, I must regain my strength. He just demonstrated that he won't be true to me, even though I would prefer to think otherwise. I have to act like everything is fine for the next 3 days because I am in such a horrible place emotionally. It is nearly intolerable. All of this is known to my sister and dad. Today, I informed them. They claim he is undeserving. On Tuesday, my parents are coming to assist me relocate. 20-year-old son of mine who knows too will assist me with moving. After this, I will definitely need to start therapy of some kind. A year and a half ago, I was not the same person. My entire perspective on life has shifted. I have no faith in anyone. Our departure day is tomorrow. I just need to survive the next 24 hours. In addition, he spent the entire movie we saw yesterday on the computer. I checked it after he got off and saw that he was browsing through photos of famous people. Not that I'm a prude or anything, it's just that the situation makes me want to throw up. How in the world is he flawed? I'm a well-educated, rather attractive woman. He stares at, remarks on, flirts with, and cheats on things all the time. He treats me like this. What is so wrong with me? Why is there someone who is always on his side? If he was going to cheat on me, why did he marry me in the first place? Why did he propose to me and then arrange to meet up with someone 3 days later? I am unable to comprehend it. I departed from him 9 days ago. The day I left, I saw him, but not since. Yesterday, I filed for divorce. This time, he claims to have seen the light. I find him unbelievable. It's the same tune again. He has done this to me, and I am so very hurt and upset about it. Why? I was a decent spouse. Why did he continually cheat? Why must I now bear the emotional cost of what he did? I can't help but not believe him. It's not the first time either. This is the third. He is not going to change. I'm exhausted and I'm having nightmares. Not his, but my teenage kids have done a terrific job of attempting to assist me. I simply feel overburdened. Regretfully, I believe I now know who he is. It's not the man I fell in love with. Most likely never existed. He is a chronic liar and cheater, as far as I'm aware. He is a charming orator who will say and do anything to win my affections. He has been at the hospital for the past few days as his son is giving birth. He was up there with his former partner, with whom he had an affair. He claims that she acts as though she did nothing wrong and that her sight sickens him because she contributed just as much to the breakdown of our marriage. All right, then, in the same way that I have been haunted and tortured by his self-centered deeds, I suppose he can just sit and stare at her and feel guilty about what he done. It makes no difference whether or not he genuinely realizes the suffering he has inflicted. I believe that the only reason he's hurting is that he's not getting his want this time. This girl has experienced enough pain. I have to give these wounds time to heal so I can regain my strength and health. I therefore left my unfaithful husband on Tuesday. He immediately located me. That evening, we had a brief conversation, but I've since declined to see him again. He will use my love for him as leverage to win me back. He promises to change. Now, he has said it 3 times. Repeatedly cheated. I simply can't continue. I have legal advice on Tuesday. The happiest day of my life was the day I married him. He destroyed everything. Although my family is incredibly understanding, I just can't stop sobbing. Who are these folks that do this? It has been an extremely emotional 2 weeks. He alternates between being incredibly cruel and pleading for another opportunity. That is beyond me. Nor have we been married for a long time. Neither property nor children belong to us. Although he wants to fight this divorce so that we would both have to pay a lot more money, I have already paid for my lawyer. It's beyond me. Why? There isn't much to argue over. It appears that he is unaware that I might not be able to give him another chance. Perhaps I've been so wounded by his adultery that I don't want to give him another chance. He claims that he will make a good husband and that his heart has changed as a result of realizing how much he loves me. I might not want to hear it now because, well, maybe this is the time. It doesn't concern me. I'm unable to return to him. To be honest, I don't think he's sincere despite his constant pleading. He claimed that he didn't know how much he loved me until I left. How much of a mess is that? Once was one mistake I could understand him making, but not three. I'm through. I have to give up my dream, which hurts. But I've finally come to the conclusion that he will never be the same. He is, in my opinion, a narcissist. His ego is the focal point of everything. I have come to terms with the fact that he will always remain the same despite the agony. It kind of makes me sick. Not to mention that my family and kids despise him for all of this. All I want is for this divorce to end quickly since I know I won't be giving this any more chances. When I played the role of the other woman with the cell phone, he had the opportunity to act morally. He did not pass the exam. I have to move on now. I went since he wanted to have dinner tonight. I went to let him know it was finished. I refrained from crying. I refrained from screaming. I just informed him that I would no longer tolerate placing myself in danger. He desired to cradle me. I declined. Now that it's over, he feels furious, accusing me of holding on to things too long. He's accusing me of arranging the sting that exposed his infidelity, making suicidal threats. Perhaps I ought not to have visited him. All I needed to know was that it was finished. I simply must and want to proceed. How come he won't just let me go? He could have easily betrayed me repeatedly. Why is he so desperate to be with me right now? It's obvious that my actions weren't very important to him. Why, then, is he clinging so tightly now? Some fresh insight into his love for me. You don't hurt people you love the way he's hurt me, without a doubt. He's not going to sign the divorce papers voluntarily, so I guess I'm going to have to pay to have them served. I've carried over some text. I'm trying to be cool over the phone with him in the hopes that we can sort of work through this divorce peacefully. That doesn't seem like it will occur. He was enraged by my decision to block him on Facebook. I just didn't want him stalking me. I wasn't trying to irritate him. I believe I will end all phone calls and texts at this point. Besides, there's really nothing to talk about. I'm at a loss on what to do if he plans to fight me in court. All I want is for him to get away from me. I've been injured enough by him. He now wants to punish me for leaving by trying to take what little is left of me. The divorce papers are with him, but he refuses to sign them. This morning, I'm giving the attorney permission to serve him via phone. He wavers between apologizing and being cruel. I informed him that I had no influence over his actions. Take the divorce to court. Give up on the divorce. He had to do whatever it was that helped him fall asleep at night. He wants to attempt to make things right again this morning. He hurts and apologizes. He wants to spend Saturday night out with me. However, that is not going to occur in any form. That's not all about him, I simply told him. I paid to have him served after calling the lawyer. It's not impetuous of me to move so swiftly. I've tried 3 times, and I've even seen him for counseling. I am aware that it is finished. I have made up my mind. All I have to do is go quickly. There's no point in delaying what is certain. This past week, since he caught me off guard in the last set and I lost it, I have been really detached from him. I have made an effort to act extremely casually and matter-of-factly about things. I keep my sweating hidden from him. I keep all these feelings inside of me, but I no longer let him see them. I simply let him know that it's finished and that he has no say in what I do moving forward. I genuinely make an effort to go outside of my emotions and make decisions by considering what someone else might do. I weep, but not in his presence, I promise. The majority of individuals eagerly await the weekends. I'm excited about work week since it will allow me to unwind. I'm not looking forward to this weekend in particular. I will be by myself because my daughter won't be home. I can stay busy around the house, so I don't mind being alone. But he's aware that I'll be alone myself. That feeling is not one I enjoy at all. He is erratic at the moment, exhibiting strong emotional fluctuations. I detest this sensation. A month later, on a Friday night while my daughter was away for the weekend, I complied with his request to go to dinner. We returned to my apartment in the conclusion. Indeed, we stayed up together that night. The second error. He had come over for dinner last night. The third error. And there was my oldest son. Because of everything he had done to me and the family, my son was furious and told me he wanted him to leave. He claimed to be attempting to keep me safe. To be really honest, I am aware that this is not going to work. He is manipulative and in charge. He deceives people. 3 times, not just once. Our marriage would suffer too much harm even if he changed everything. I've been harmed too much. I don't trust anyone, and I won't trust him in particular. I'm not sure why I did this. How come I never blocked the number? What made me let him back in? It hurts so much, this. He ruined our union. I feel all the feelings. I become irate. I weep. I can't believe how much has transpired in the last 2 years. How in the world am I flawed? Why am I so lacking in integrity? I texted my STBX this morning, 2 weeks later, and blocked him from my phone after that. If you look for reasons to be upset with me, this will be a lot simpler. You ought to be furious with yourself. It was never acceptable to settle issues or get emotionally attached to Tracy by going outside of our partnership, initial relationship. The fact that you recently became involved with her again was unacceptable. Removing your ring and declaring your love for your ex-wife was not appropriate. A second romantic relationship. You yearn for her company. Don't attribute your want to be with your daughter to your desire to be with her. That is absurd. You said to me that your closest friend was your ex. You desired the return of your closest friend. That is the reality. You recently returned to Tracy because you needed her company and were lonely. What do you know? I'm through. I'm both grieving and resentful at the same time. I'm not going to live like this any longer, so go ahead and do whatever you want to do. Later on, my STBX is unable to communicate, so he arrives at my house this evening. I forced him to remain in the cold on the porch. He repeated his usual remarks. He promises never to deceive, abuse, or injure me again. Blah blah blah. Wants me to talk to him by unblocking him. I take it that this is where he's trying to entice me. It will be difficult to resist unblocking him tonight. However, I refuse to do so. Already made up mind. I'm assuming command. Even though it will be difficult tonight, I will avoid a great deal of pain. I'm taking responsibility for my choices and the outcomes of those choices. The madness is over. Whatever I can control, anyway. Every day, the divorce is becoming closer. Although I am aware that getting a divorce won't make me better, it will be my last opportunity to resist him. When he betrayed me, he left this marriage. After telling his ex he loved her and taking off his ring, he left this marriage. After talking to women on his work phone, he left this marriage. It was him who was cruel, isolating my kid and me and berating us. It was him who made the unreasonable expectations. I didn't leave like he says I did. I simply said that enough was enough. Right now, where am I? I have more strength. There is no one there to play with my mind anymore. I possess my own mind and my thoughts. Nobody is trying to convince me that I am solely to blame for this. I am not to blame. We can now make up for the harm he caused to my kids and me. He is capable of harm. He is able to be by himself. I am the best wife in the world, but he can live without me. I feel extremely good about myself and I think I've done a great job the last few days. I managed to survive yet another day in charge of my life. Spent the night with a pair of my offspring. A couple times a week, my oldest visits for a home-cooked lunch. Consuming hot cocoa. I adore it. The longer I go without speaking to my STBX, the more lucid it becomes. I believe. Oh, and today this really attractive, muscular dude asked me out. I'm not even close to being ready to go out for drinks. I'm too damaged mentally. Still, it was kind of you to inquire. I should go snap pictures, email him to that STBX, and act cruel, which I am not. Once more, he appears at the door. Naturally, I refuse to let him in. He implores you to resolve this. He claims that I won't try to make things right because of my children. No, I replied, it was the agony he had inflicted and the problems with trust. Perhaps it's because he has a history of lying and obsessively cheating. Perhaps just a little. He's still barred as of a few weeks ago, when I was still communicating with him. Facebook, email, and phone. I remained silent in the presence of the children. He claimed that his therapist had informed him that it was only a means for him to hide things. I became quite irate. I assured him that I have nothing to hide from his psychologist. I'm defending my kids. It was my responsibility to keep them safe and to make sure they wouldn't be harmed by anyone else. He has hurt both them and myself so deeply. Set them aside. Informed my daughter that she would always be sorry. She is a wonderful young lady. He physically intimidated her and verbally assaulted her. He and my youngest kid got into a physical fight. Minimized my eldest. He will never again be in their presence, no matter what. That man's nerve. He believes that I should follow his instructions simply because he insists that we resolve our differences. Not any longer. I have my own thoughts and am a unique individual, as I don't talk to him other than when he unexpectedly appears at the door. My memory is more clearer now, but I'm struggling now. He kept coming over to my house, so Tuesday night I called the police twice on my STBX. Despite encircling my neighbor across the street, the police were never able to apprehend him. He texted me on Wednesday morning, saying he had watched the police pass my house multiple times the previous evening and asked why I was afraid. I assume that he is following me. On Wednesday night, I attended Bible study. He texted me to let me know that he knew where I was. I went to counseling on Thursday. This week, we discussed how to keep the kids and I safe as well as my fear. I went to campus police this morning to report what has been happening because I work for a school district. He has an alert on him at both my daughters and my campus. She claims that he is sending psychotic messages to my former pastor because she refuses to meet with him. I can tell he's changed because he made plans to see my current pastor for counseling. Why my place of worship? My pastor, why? There are numerous churches in the area. He texted me today, calling me a good woman and asking me to think about making things work. He promises never to cheat on me or lie to me again. He can get counseling to help with this. How many times must I refuse something? Really, I can't stop the texts, but I don't reply. His phone is prohibited, but image mail still gets through. My lawyer calls me after that. I received a copy of the completed papers from them. I gave it my blessing. They are required to provide my STBX a 45-day notice because he replied to the initial divorce request. My lawyer informed me that he would attempt to move up the final date. However, it will be postponed if my STBX complains to the judge regarding the amount of time. In addition, my lawyer informed me that it will be challenging to obtain a court date in February due to the judge's partial vacation. I just can't seem to handle any of this. My fear and paranoia persist. I'm still depressed over it all. The nightmares, the rage, speaking with unhelpful police is necessary. The embarrassment of telling the police while at work, the lawyer, the judiciary. I really can't take any more of it. After 2 months, it was an extremely emotional day yesterday. My divorce is scheduled for tomorrow. Yesterday morning, I felt as though I was getting ready for a funeral. What is wrong with me? Despite the horrible things this man has done to me, I still grieve for this marriage. This ought to be simple. It's not this letting go, though. I disposed of the gown I wore to my wedding yesterday night. I no longer find any meaning in it. The entire marriage ceremony is a fabrication. He was lying both before and up until our marriage. I was never adored by him. He treated my kids like trash. That being said, why even give a damn? I want to go to the courts and sign paperwork, but why am I not ready? Why is this still hurting? Perhaps it's because I'm a decent human being with sentiments and I find it hard to understand how someone could do what he did to someone else. In addition, I begin my master's degree course today. It'll take me 18 months. I'm hoping that while my mind processes everything, this will keep me busy. Perhaps after the next 18 months are up, I'll be prepared for it to move on. My divorce became official on Tuesday. Considering how much difficulty my daughter has been causing the previous few months, he acted like a prick and attempted to confiscate her automobile. I informed him not to bring up my daughter. I told him that he was unable to control himself, not her, and that was why they were divorcing. Even though he eventually gave me her car, he harassed me the entire way to the county clerk's office. I just told him he was gone to me by looking at him. He called my dad an asshole as they were leaving the county clerk's office. My father came to encourage me. All my dad did was smile and wave goodbye. I went right away and got a new DL&SS card. Upon my arrival at home, I discovered that the recently divorced spouse had left a shattered and cracked photo of us in the front yard. It's so nice that this has ended. I'll let go of his control. I currently have total control over my life, and it's going pretty darn well. My observation was to highlight the stark differences between the two tales. You can't miss the relationships you two had, but you can miss your ex. It is something from the past, and things start to become much clearer when you live in the present. How do you feel about these denouements? Please leave a comment.